finding a way into, you know, on another train to Seattle, and he meets this little girl, which kind of reminds him of his daughter. He has a fun moment with a magic trick. Good moment between Gary Daniels and this girl. She takes him to her house where he meets her parents, and he has this pretty good speech, good acting, where he's talking about how all this crap that he's been through. But of course he says it, well, I had this uncle and he's been through hard times and he did all this, and he did nothing. He didn't do anything wrong. All he wanted to do was see his daughter and see his baby girl. That's all he wanted to do. I wouldn't hurt anybody, I didn't, you really did kind of feel for him. And then of course the parents end up calling the cops. And basically then Jeffrey Combs shows up. And Jeffrey Combs has a really good moment, sadistic, evil, bad guy, which I really wish he was there from the beginning. And there's this really kind of hard to watch moment where the family, the husband and wife and the little girl are there, and basically Gary Daniels is tied up to the couch, and Jeffrey Combs is all like, I hear, that they can't break you. You're unbreakable. And basically what he does is he has his other policemen, police officers who have these batons, beat the ever loving shit out of him with these batons, and he says he tells them, remind me when something breaks. And then he's just doing, and it's just creepy. He's doing, they're beating the shit out of him with these batons in the face and the chest. They're shocking him too, and beating the shit out of him. And then he's doing this kind of orchestra moves. It's like, and you have this orchestra in the background. It's sadistic. But it's great performance of Jeffrey Combs. That clip's on YouTube, I think. But anyway, he ends up getting sent to hospital. He wakes up, injects some, kind of like a painkiller or whatever in one of the doctor's neck, escapes, gets out, he looks like he's going to escape again, and then he sees this girl walk by, and it looks exactly like his daughter, Jillian. And he starts following her. He's like, Jillian, and she turns around the corner, and he lost her, and he says, Jillian, and it's like, that's not Jillian. That's Jillian's granddaughter. He's like, and he's like, where's Jillian? Around the corner, and he go, in another room, and he goes around the corner, and he walks in the room with Jillian, his 72-year-old daughter, and she's not doing so well. And before, the person who told him where she was actually Jillian's son. And I've got to be honest, this movie has a lot of issues, it's depressing, but it affected me. It actually affected me emotionally, because I cared about this character, and I lost it. I teared up at the end, near the end where he finally meets his daughter, and she's now 72 years old, and she's like, Daddy, hi, hi, pumpkin, that kind of, and you would think it'd be funny, unintentionally hilarious, but to me it was really well done acting performance by Gary Daniels. And I think the person who played the older Jillian was actually the same actress, in all honesty, who did the Clapper commercials. Or actually, I think it was the one that's like, help, I'm falling and I can't get up. It was either the Clapper commercial one, but that was, no way. I think it was the help, I'm falling and I can't get up lady who played his older daughter. And basically, he has this moment with her where he talks about, she's kind of delirious because she's dire straits, and she's like, are mama and dad, our mother, mama and daddy with you? He's like, yes, they are. They're up here. It's beautiful, and it's, do I still look the same to you? It's like, yes, you do. Yes, you do. They're my little girl. And then she ends up, he says a few words to her, and she ends up passing away. And I gotta admit, I mean, this movie can't totally suck if it actually it gets some emotional response from me. So, but man, this is such a fucking depressing movie. It's just sad, really sad. And then the last part of the film is he walks out of the room where his daughter just died, and he basically runs into Jeffrey Combs and his, the rest of his police, his police entourage, and they're all like, Mason, put your hands in the air, and you have this moment where he thinks about it, then he starts laughing, and then he runs for it. And he's like, Mason, stop! Mason, stop! Stop, Mason, stop! And he's running. And then basically the last shot of the film is, alright, fire. And he's running, and you freeze frame, and he basically gets shot in the back. And then you see shots of him, his little daughter, and his wife. Basically, kind of home footage. Then basically it's over. So part of me was like, oh, what kind of fucking ending is that? But then I thought about it for a while. And I'm like, as fucking downbeat and as nihilistic and as bleak as this film is, it's kind of a fitting ending. And it honestly makes some sense to me. Let's try to make some sense out of this bleak ass, depressing ending. Why he finally did the one thing he was breaking out of prison for, to see his daughter one last time. There's nothing else for him to live for. What, he's gonna get caught by Jeffrey Combs and his goons and get sent back to cryo sleep suspension for like 50 years and then wake up and have to be in prison for like another 70 for the rest of his life? I mean, if he kept going on the run, he'd eventually get caught again. If he ever tried to build up any relationship with anybody else, he'd put them in danger, and he'd also... I mean, it really, honestly, there wasn't anything else for him to do. This is a person who's dealt with all this shit. He's had this dead, shitty, bad... He was dealt a shitty hand. And basically, he decides to... I don't want to do this anymore. I want to be happy. I want to go up to heaven, with my daughter and my wife, whom I love very much, and get away from this horrible, cold world. And part of me thinks that death really was the only option for him. He's living like a living hell anyway. He keeps getting put in cryo sleep, so he wakes up and he's like young, and everybody else he knows around him is dead. His whole family is dead. I mean, he couldn't really get a relationship with his granddaughter because Jillian's son probably doesn't even know who the fuck he is. And there's really not much he could do. So there was no other option. Run away. It's not really suicide because he's running away. Just he's been running the whole movie. He runs away. Finally, he runs basically home. He runs home, basically runs home, which is, home will be in heaven, with his daughter, his wife. Not this living hell that he's been dealing with. So, that's how I can justify this, depressing ass ending. See, I told you, this is almost like 40 minutes, and I don't even know how much of a review this is. It might not be that great of a review. But the thing is, it's a very hard film to review, because there's not very much action in this. It's mostly drama. And I think Gary Daniels does a pretty good job with that. And the film's worth a look just to see, his admirable attempt, into the foray of dramatic acting. But, part of me also doesn't want to recommend it because it is so fucking depressing. It is just so sad. It just leaves no hope. It's one of those no hope movies. But I gotta admit, it kept me interested. It kept me involved for its entire running time. I felt for Roger Mason and his plight. And in the end, I liked it. Didn't love it, but I liked it. Liked it enough that, if I was going to rate it out of 5 stars, I'd probably end up giving it 3. Because I don't think it's the worst thing I've ever seen. And I know it's the same rating as Cold Harvest, but this is a different movie than Cold Harvest. Cold Harvest is like a fun, kick-ass, feet-first, actioneer. This is a sci-fi prison drama. With the heavy emphasis on the drama aspect. But I really like the cold shadow idea. I like the performance by Gary Daniels. He has some funny moments, which I can't remember, but if you ever do get a chance to see the film, he's got some good one-liners, and he's got some good stuff that he basically... His character is a likable character. You want to see him escape from this prison and see his daughter. And he finally does, and then there's really no else for him to go. Now, part of me thought, the reason why I give it 3 stars and not higher is because of that. It is so fucking sad. I mean, I don't even know what to say. It's just sad. I mean, any of the words I can come up with are sad, which I can't come up with for some reason, but it is. It's just depressing. It's a downer. It's a downbeat. It's a downer of a film. So, basically, what else to say, except, thanks for watching my review. And, I guess you might, and one more thing I missed, I guess you might have been able to make it a little bit better and less sad if you kind of went through the angle, like I said, where he was just trying to get put in cryo suspension the first time, gets out, manages to escape from the prison, finds his daughter, she's in some deep trouble, and he basically saves her along the way, kicks some ass, and they, rekindle their relationship. That probably would have been a better film, probably would have been more uplifting. But at the same time, I didn't mind this film either, the approach that it had. I don't know, maybe it's because it's something different, and it was refreshing. But anyway, take my review for what it is, and thanks for watching. I'll see you later.